How do you pick a super mentor? Well, the interesting thing about that one is oftentimes the right super mentor doesn't seem any more unique or different or better when you first meet them. The important thing to know here is we're not about picking a mentor, we're about picking a basket of people that we believe have the opportunity to turn into our super mentors. Most people who talk about their experience with mentors will tell you that they had multiple super mentors over time. And that's a secret. We're not looking for a mentor, we're looking for a series of super mentors who can help us with numerous problems over time. In fact, in my own life, I would argue I've probably had at least 6 or 7 super mentors, people who created unusual opportunities through their help and guidance along the way. And that's what leads us to our first law of the past framework, the law of the right people. You want to find people that you can involve in your projects and ultimately build relationships with that can be helpful to you over time. But it starts by not focusing on a person and instead focusing on people. And we're going to talk to you right now about how you're going to think about that one. There's really 2 different types of people that we're going to be talking about here for these potential super mentor relationships you're going to build. People that you already know that you could cultivate into super mentors, and people you don't know yet. Both of them are incredibly valuable, and what I urge people to do is before they worry too much about creating new relationships, to make sure you cultivate the relationships you already have. That's what we're going to talk about first, is how do you unlock super mentors within the people you already know. Now, the first part of understanding the past framework, because remember, we're trying to move past regular mentorship into super mentorship. And that comes by making sure that we're creating a way for them to engage and build that relationship over time. And that comes in the form of your project. And by this point, hopefully you've identified a project that is something that you care about, is something you can finish, and ultimately something that is collaboratable. That's important things to know. You have your project. Now we need to figure out ways to involve people into it. Now remember, most great projects are going to have 2 different aspects. They're going to have a medium, whether it's a podcast, a book, an event series, a project, whatever it is behind it, they're going to have the medium and they're going to have the topics. Now what's great is you can use both of these as ways to engage people. So let's say, for example, you look at the network you have, maybe people you've gone to school with, maybe people you've studied with, maybe people in your social media, whoever they may be behind it. You want to start by looking first for people who've already completed the project type you have. If you're looking to do an event series, you want to find people who've hosted conferences or events. If you're looking to do something like put together an album, you might like to find people who've already done that, have things on Spotify along the way. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to reach out to those types of people to help talk about scoping your project. The way that you engage those early relationships are going to be very simple. I'm thinking about putting out a book. I know that you did that one. I was curious if I could get about 15 minutes to walk through how you started attacking that project and any lessons learned. Remember, the key thing we want to do is first see if we can unlock people in our networks already that have some kind of context for the project type. The second one is you want to look for the topic that you're looking at. Now, again, if you're looking to explore something that might be about the future of, sort of food in our system, or it might be the future of social ventures, or what might have you, you want to find who are other people in your network who have that experience. These could be professors, these could be former employees, these could be peers, they could be parents of peers that you have. But you're looking for people who know the subject at this point. And this is where you make a slightly different ask. Of those people, you reach out to them and you say something simple about, hey, I'm thinking about attacking a new book project that's going to touch on this subject, or I'm thinking about putting on a conference that's going to touch on this specific subject. I know you're a bit of an expert. Could I grab about 15 minutes with you just to sort of learn a little bit about how you would think about attacking a project like this? Remember, we're scoping it very tightly, either on the medium or the sort of vehicle you're working on, or whether it's about something of the topic in that way. That's the first thing, is cultivate those relationships. And again, there's no real magic to it, but it's an important thing to go through your network. Look at all the people you've engaged with, use keywords, search for those people, and oftentimes you have these latent super mentors that are already in your network that by engaging them either on the medium or on the subject can turn them into relationships that will build into super mentor relationship. Remember, the project itself is incredibly powerful because it scopes the relationship context and it gives you something to collaborate on that can build into a super mentor relationship. The second type of relationship are people you don't know yet. These are people that you would like to meet, you would like to know over time. And these people, while again, maybe intimidating, are ultimately people that you can create incredible relationships with you if you wind up scoping the relationship right. So there's two big things that we've learned to help create new relationships with people. Number one is you want to have a public engagement strategy and a private strategy. What we mean by this is you want to make sure that you do a little bit of engagement with them both in the public arena. You want to follow them on social media, engage with their content, create that passive relationship with these people before you wind up making that private ask. And that's where many of the tools can be really powerful. So let's say that you're interested in interviewing someone who already has a podcast out there that touches on a subject matter you're interested in, or someone who's successful as an industry executive or leader that you want to learn from. The first thing to understand is you want to start by cultivating a light relationship so it doesn't seem like something that's just sort of a cold email. You want to warm it up a little bit by doing something we call the 5-minute favor. The 5-minute favor is very, very simple and very powerful. You want to find things that this person cares about, whether it's something they posted on social media, on their blog, on YouTube, whatever it is, and you want to say something nice about it publicly. You want to comment on it, you want to leave a post, you want to do something. The reason for it is that for most people, especially those people who are not uber famous, they'll see it. They'll see these things, and many times they'll be able to connect that nice thing you've done, the 5-minute favor, with when you reach out for your connection point. The second thing is once you've done that one, then you make a private connection, whatever platforms you can, whether it's direct through platforms like PeopleGrove or direct through LinkedIn, or whether you find other ways to get their email message. And this is where it's really key. You want to reference the 5-minute favor, something that you saw about them that was great, the gratitude that was interesting to you, and you want to share with them about the simple ask you want. You want to scope it in time, and we'll talk a little bit more about the right ask in just a few minutes. But those are the key things. Remember, first step is try to cultivate the existing relationships you have. Turn those latent mentor relationships into super mentor relationships by involving in a project scoping exercise you're doing. Then for people you don't know yet, start with a 5-minute favor. Do something nice publicly, then privately reach out, and you'll be surprised at how that will increase your conversion rates. What we found is this idea of cold outreach with the public, nice 5-minute favor followed with the ask led to conversion rates that were 5 to 10x higher, meaning 5 to 10x more likely to respond and be willing to help along the way. That's the power of the right person. And as you're trying to figure out who might be the right person, remember, trust yourself. If you find someone who has experience in the medium you're working on with your project or the topic, either one of those ways to sort of use that as a way to start the relationship is great. Aim high. Don't worry about people saying no, because most of the time they won't even say no. They'll just ignore you. So aim high, ask small, and do it again and again until you create those relationships that are going to lead you to those super mentoring opportunities.